This is QTV Nightly News. I'm Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. And a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the headlines. In a major crackdown on reckless driving, the Bundung Magistrates Court has handed down a landmark sentence in what the authorities hope will send a strong message to drifters, those involved in dangerous joyriding, locally called drifting. Medical doctors from Heilongjiang province in China are currently in the Gambia to perform cataract surgeries for 200 patients at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources held a two-day validation workshop on the Gambia Climate Change Bill and revised national climate change policy. In an exclusive interview with QTV, Mohamed Krubali, the Gambia's first visually impaired magistrate serving at the Banjul Magistrates Court, speaks about the challenges and opportunities for persons with disabilities, emphasizing their rightful place in society. In international news, today the 29th of August marks World Humanitarian Day, uniting the global community under the impactful theme, Act for Humanity, to honor humanitarian workers amid pressing challenges and conflicts worldwide. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News and I am Momudu Gajaga. In a major crackdown on reckless driving, the Bundung Magistrates Court has handed down a landmark sentence which the authorities hope sends a strong message to drifters, those involved in dangerous joyriding, locally called drifting. Court reporting is done by Nicholas Bass and the story is narrated by our Bob.
Malik Baji, a convicted drifter, was on Tuesday sentenced to 3 years imprisonment with hard labor for reckless and negligent driving. The incident, which led to his conviction, occurred on July 18, 2025, when Baji, behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz in an accident widely said in online footage, can be seen recklessly driving into a school zone in Abuko, striking a 13-year-old pupil. The court heard that Baji entered an area designated for the safety of children, driving with such carelessness that it resulted in severe injury and lasting pain for the young victim. Presiding Magistrate Ismail Diba said the court's rule is to uphold justice, protect the public, especially children, and deter others from similar recklessness. In addition to the jail sentence, Baji was ordered to pay $1 million in compensation of the victim, or face an additional 2 years in prison. With this judgment, authorities hope to send a clear warning that drifting on Gambian roads will not go unpunished. This ruling comes amid growing public concern over the rise in drifting-related incidents across the country. For QTV News, I am our Bob.
Medical doctors from Heilongjiang province in China are currently in the Gambia to perform cataract surgeries for 200 patients at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital for a 2-week period. Jenna Bosongo attended the official launch in Banjul, and this is our report.
In April 2025, the government of the Gambia signed 4 strategic memorandums of understanding with the province of Heilongjiang in the People's Republic of China. The MOU aims to strengthen bilateral ties and promote socio-economic development in both countries. Under the agreement, Heilongjiang province will provide the Gambia with free eye surgeries, focusing specifically on cataract operations. Tong Xian is the Economic and Commercial Affairs Counselor at the Chinese Embassy in Banjul.
And all the team members, they have experience in other countries to carry out this kinds of projects. That's why we chose this one. And also I think for the restore the eyesight, it's essential or crucial for the people for better life, for a better, we call it quality life. It's very important. Yeah.
Cataract is the leading cause of blindness in the Gambia, responsible for 55% of cases according to a 2025 survey of 8,174 people. With a blindness prevalence of 0.7%, an estimated 5,500 people require cataract surgery, with more than half of the country's blindness burden potentially remediable through surgical intervention. Dr. Mustafa Bite is the Chief Medical Officer at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, where the screening and cataract surgeries will take place.
They are bringing a very good technology. It's a new technology. Within 10 minutes, they could do the surgeries, and it's highly effective. So we are grateful that they are coming with not only to bring the material, but also to teach our people the skills, so that even after they have left, we could continue this type of. This is the best way to collaborate, is to give people the skills, so that even if you are no more there, our people can continue to benefit.
This marks the second time Heilongjiang province of China is conducting cataract surgeries in the Gambia. Although cataract surgical rates and coverage have improved, challenges remain in providing post-operative spectacles for patients, particularly those without a natural lens. Here is one of the medical doctors from Heilongjiang province.
来到了这里，这是我第5次来到我们非洲大地。
During the first period of screening, they found that the patients' situations are quite serious, and it is really in urgent need. And this kind of surgery, it will be happen in 2 periods. The first period will be a 4-day screening, and the second period will be the surgery.
The government of the Gambia and the Heilongjiang province have also signed MOUs in areas such as talent exchange and training. The program is designed to establish the framework for building skills and sharing knowledge. In a separate contractual signing ceremony, Lunjang Company also signed 4 contracts with Gambian institutions for construction of a bridge and road maintenance, non-genetically modified rice seeds production, and land rehabilitation. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources held a 2-day validation workshop on the Gambia Climate Change Bill and revised National Climate Change Policy. More in this report. As a country grappling with the consequences of climate change, the validation will look at areas such as climate change governance, mitigation, adaptation, and sustainable development. The aim is to deliver a draft bill and policy framework for review after feedback from stakeholders to improve the document and ensure it is inclusive and aligns with national priorities. Rohit John Manjang is the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources.
We are validating here a document that is more than just a legal document, but that's going to shape the transformative action in terms of mitigating climate change in our this territory. As we proceed with this validation exercise, let us keep in mind the urgency of our task. Climate change waits for no one, and every delayed action increases our vulnerability. I am confident that with your expertise and commitment, we will produce documents that will stand the test of time and survive as model for other nations in our sub-region.
The climate policy also aims to address climate risks such as rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, rising sea levels, and its impact on the well-being of the Gambian people. In July 2023, heavy rainfall caused floods, which led to death and destructions of property. The validation is set to renew national climate change policy in order to formulate a climate change bill which will shape future climate action of the country. Lamin S. Jame is the Director of Climate Change Secretariat.
As we validate these instruments, let us reaffirm our commitment to a just transition. Our climate action, both mitigation and adaptation, must place the need and aspiration of the Gambians at the forefront. This is not only a matter of policy, but also a matter of principle.
The West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Investment Project, WACA, is a 5-year World Bank-funded project and one of the funders of the Climate Change Bill and revised policy. Dr. Mohamed Lamin Sanyang is the WACA project coordinator.
The WACA is designed to strengthen the resilience of targeted communities against flooding and pollution, as well as strengthen institutional capacities and policy frameworks on climate change, integrated coastal zone management, disaster risk reduction, pollution prevention, and other related priority areas.
The Gambia is highly vulnerable to impacts of climate change, such as flooding, storm, droughts, rising sea levels, and coastal erosions, all of which can cause food insecurity. Having a climate change bill with a strong policy could be the right step towards mitigating some of these impacts. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV. We'll now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we still have more local and international news stories. Do stay tuned and join us after the break.
Supersonics Islamic Insurance. Nyinne Gambia la insurance follow te mi yalonko, yalla solo kwol kamalena. Minnin sariyango tata, ye kukuto kamalena, minul be sone yaring, falla bunda dal, nga insurance service sifa jamal le sotali. Pour kaje ko, ali kayro soto, tanko, aning hakil tenkungo, wati sulatala. Ida ke Supersonic Insurance Company la doku woto. Isen na lodulaje, nkumande bi, plus 220 513 2319 513-2318 wala 513-2315. Isen email no info@supersonicinsurance.com. Wara yetan na website oto www.supersonicinsurance.com. Ese futano na dunkira bato mimbe Beka Plaza 56 Liberation Avenue, Banjul.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. In an exclusive interview with QTV, Mohamed Krubali, the Gambia's first visually impaired magistrate serving at the Banjul Magistrate Court, speak about the challenges and opportunities for persons with disabilities, emphasizing their rightful place in society. The interview, conducted by Nicholas Bass of The Voice newspaper, highlights his personal journey and continued advocacy. Our Bob has the details.
Persons with disabilities are judged on the basis of their disabilities, that they are incapable, that they are unable, and that they do not fit to live in society.
That was Mohamed Kurbali, Principal Magistrate of the Banjul Court and Chairman of the Gambia Federation of the Disabled, expressing the voices and perspectives of persons with disabilities in the Gambia. According to the Disability and Integration Gambian Experience study, more than 10% of the Gambian population are persons with disabilities, either as a result of mental, sensory, or physical impairment. In 2021, the National Assembly passed the Persons with Disabilities Act, a landmark law that aligns the Gambia with international commitments such as the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which the country ratified in 2015. Having a disability does not take away a person's entitlement to the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. Yet, in reality, many Gambians with disabilities find their lives constrained by physical and social barriers that limit their full participation in society. As a result, many persons with disabilities across the country remain segregated, marginalized, and deprived of the dignity they deserve. Magistrate Kurbari emphasized that persons with disabilities have the right not only to equal treatment but also to meaningful employment, stressing their ability to contribute productively when given the opportunity.
And will feel that equal treatment with others on equal basis with others. It is always part of my advocacy campaign that the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Article 1 states that all human beings are born free and equal in rights and in dignity and must act towards each other consensuously.
Magistrate Kurbari drew attention to the everyday challenges faced by persons with disabilities, from social stigma to structural barriers that hinder their full inclusion in society.
Discrimination from education system, discrimination from social settings, discrimination for that of accessing private and public building. Challenges such as having access to the public transport, public building, private building, hospitals.
He further urges persons with disabilities to embrace their potential and demonstrate that disability is not inability.
The message I have for my fellow persons with disabilities, including myself, is for us to stay focused, for us to stay informed, for us to stay courageous, for us to stay resilient. Disability does not mean inability, but disability means ability. Disability means possibility.
The Person with Disabilities Act 2021, together with the UN Convention, is not merely a legislative framework, but a recognition of the fundamental rights of persons with disabilities, affirming that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. For QTV News, I am Awa Bob.
At a high-level national consultative meeting to end open defecation in the Gambia, government and UN officials applaud the Gambia's progress in improving public health and sanitation across the country. Ansumane Sonyasi was at the meeting and he filed this report.
This national stakeholder convergence follows a recent UN report which revealed significant progress in the country's fight against open defecation, with the report noting that only 1% of the population still engages in open defecation. The country is on course to eliminate the practice well before its 2030 end to open defecation target. Dr. Ahmadou Lamin Samate, Gambia's Minister of Health, says the event reaffirms the government's commitment to improving public health. And while highlighting the social and health impact of open defecation, he announces plans to construct washing spots along major roads, notably the Trans-Gambia Highway, to help improve sanitation and public health.
The terrain is not so difficult in the Gambia. There is remarkable increase in access to clean, potable water. There is remarkable increase in access to good roads, electricity, and so on and so forth. So the march has started, and I must tell you that His Excellency, the President, Mr. Adama Barrow, is very, very committed to developing a modern Gambia that is responsive to the needs of the people.
Nafisa bint Safiq, the UN country representative, says the UN acknowledges that the Gambia has made significant progress in safeguarding public health, particularly in addressing open defecation. However, she adds that while this is commendable, it is important to ensure a collective and community-led effort in the fight to eliminate the remaining 1%, adding that open defecation increases the risk of disease and malnutrition.
48% of Gambians have access to at least basic sanitation, 12% to limited services like shared, 41% to unimproved sanitation, and just 1% still practiced open defecation. Mixed 2018 likewise found only 1% practicing open defecation. Evidence that the Gambia is poised to end this entirely.
Participants at this national dialogue, including policymakers and politicians, share recommendations on how to address the country's sanitation and hygiene challenges. Among them is Samba Ba, URL Governor, and Honorable Amadou Kamara, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Health, who both expressed strong support for the event, describing it as timely.
Expectation would be from this convergence, we will go back to our various committees with vigor and with optimism in trying to make sure that we end open defecation, and Gambia becomes one of the countries in Africa that is able to address the open defecation free.
We have to do whatever that is possible within our remits, within our portfolios, within our powers, to support the Ministry of Health and all the different stakeholders to make sure this is ended and end completely.
Recommendations from the consultative meeting are expected to shape national policy on eliminating the remaining 1%, strengthen public health and sanitation, and health ministry officials joined UN officials in advocating for more collective effort to help end open defecation in the Gambia. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Now, coming up next is international news. Today, the 19th of August, marks World Humanitarian Day, uniting the global community under the impactful theme Act for Humanity to honor humanitarian workers amid pressing challenges and conflicts worldwide. Mam Nabukar has the rest of that story.
Humanitarian Day honors the dedication, commitment and sacrifice of humanitarians worldwide. It seeks to promote the well-being, dignity and survival of those impacted by disasters, as well as ensure the safety and security of the aid workers who risk their lives to provide them with assistance. The day also commemorates the anniversary of the 2003 attack on the United Nations headquarters in Iraq, which resulted in the loss of 22 humanitarian workers' lives and that of UN Special Representative Sergio Vieira de Mello. The theme for this year's commemoration, Act for Humanity, a repeat of last year's theme, aims to mobilize global support for humanitarian workers and highlight the urgent need to protect them and the communities they serve. In 2024, 383 humanitarian workers lost their lives, with the majority of attacks originating from Sudan and the Palestinian territories. By mid-2025, an additional 248 workers had already been killed. Currently, the number of individuals in urgent need of humanitarian assistance has risen from nearly 300 million in 2024 to 305 million this year. However, funding is dwindling, worsened by the suspension of U.S. humanitarian aid, which usually accounts for 45% of global support. This has resulted in widespread layoffs and halted operations. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, called for a renewed focus on humanitarian principles.
On this World Humanitarian Day, let's honor the fallen with action. To protect every aid worker and invest in their safety. To stop the lies that cost lives. To strengthen accountability and bring perpetrators to justice. To end arms flows to parties that violate international law.
Volker Turk, United Nations Human Rights Chief, reaffirmed their commitment to ensure the security and protection of human aid workers at all times.
We will never stop insisting that governments, all member states of the United Nations, work together to ensure that they provide full humanitarian access to people in need and that there is accountability for the grave violations of international humanitarian law that includes the protection of humanitarian workers and UN personnel.
World Humanitarian Day serves as a reminder that every act of kindness and every moment of commitment has the power to change lives in a world facing unprecedented challenges and conflict. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, here's a recap of our main news headlines. In a major crackdown on reckless driving, a Bundung Magistrates Court has handed down a landmark sentence in what the authorities hope will send a strong message to drifters, those involved in dangerous joyriding, locally called drifting. Medical doctors from Heilongjiang province in China are currently in the Gambia to perform cataract surgeries for 200 patients at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources held a two-day validation workshop on the Gambia Climate Change Bill and revised National Climate Change Policy. In an exclusive interview with QTV, Mohamed Krubali, the Gambia's first visually impaired magistrate serving at the Banjul Magistrates Court, spoke about the challenges and opportunities of persons with disabilities, emphasizing their rightful place in society. In international news, today the 19th of August marked World Humanitarian Day, uniting the global community under the impactful theme, Act for Humanity, to honor humanitarian workers and pressing challenges amid pressing challenges and conflicts worldwide. That's all we have time for in this news bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again at 10 for another bulletin.